Hello YouTube, this is really my first video of this kind, so bear with me. I wanted to show you some things about Core Paintshop Pro X6. First I need to say that I'm a quite big fan, always been a fan of Paintshop Pro. I used it from the version 5 when I was in high school. It was really my first graphics designer's program that I used for the 2D graphics. So I kind of very like it, usually I like it more than Photoshop. But as I'm a professional graphics designer for years, I found myself using Photoshop more than Paintshop in recent years. And there are some particular reasons for that. Some stuff that I really don't like about Paintshop Pro. It's like some bugs that keeps repeating every time a new version comes out. And that's what I want to show you, and I hope somebody from Corel will see that, because it seems like they don't use their own software, or I don't know what the beta testers are doing, but some things are really awful. It's mostly quality related. I kind of still like the Photoshop, I mean Paintshop. You see that, and that is not really a big problem, but some things really bother me a lot and makes this very not usable. So let's start with a simple white background image. It's a thousand pixels, and let's paste somewhere a logo of this. I'm kind of fan of Honda, that's why it is, but it really will show some things that will prove what I say. I will just copy it and paste it as a new layer. Okay, it's bigger than the image. It's very smooth. There's no problem with that at all. So now I will get the pick tool and I will scale it down for about this size and move it to the image. And that's about it. As you see, it's not smooth anymore. That is a big problem. It is, if I hit 100% zoom, it is not smooth. It looks like shit actually. When I do the same with picture, I'll scale it down like to 200, and again paste this as a new layer. It's about the same size, and this is how it should look like. This is much more smoother than this. You see, this has like no filtering at all. It's like a nearest neighbor or something. This is done with a big cubic or something. I think there was a big cubic filtering or smart size. It usually uses with bilinear or big cubic. So that is a big problem. Every time you scale something, it just goes to hell. Even when you are scaling it down, it should be no problem, but in Paintshop Pro it is. Sorry guys. And the other problem, compared to Photoshop, is that even when you have got smooth image pasted from externally by downsizing the image and then pasted, you have like nothing like Photoshop's smart objects or something. If I just make it big again, it's like 2000 by 2000, and paste it as new layer, and I do like scale down to look like shit, and then when I scale it up, oh wait, just it will look horrible. It's really, Paintshop Pro doesn't even cache that for a while. I think it would maybe help not having the same thing as Photoshop has with the smart objects on but it's cool. It's very cool feature of Photoshop. But it should at least cache the photo, the picture, until I like use some brush or something, until I change it, until I edit it. But it doesn't have any feature. Once you scale it down, you're just lost. Well, the next thing that is really bad, and I heard people are really complaining about, are the layers, the layer effects. At first, I don't really know why there's this, because opacity is in the layers palette, and it's over here too. So this is really no reason why this is here. If I just make the drop shadow, which is very often used, what kind of units is this, or how is this usable? It's not usable at all. This is not even a pixels unit. It's some kind of, I don't know what it is really. What is one? It's like one times the dimensions or something. I don't know. And when I hit the upper arrow or low down arrow, it just scales it for 1, which is not good. You just want to use like 0.01 or some kind of this value to have it normal. And this is just size. That's okay. It should be sufficient, but I don't know how to make this piece usable. This is really not usable at all. Another thing is that it just doesn't handle it doesn't draw the image while it's moving at all. Or I saw it moving when you just use this tool, but it doesn't draw the effects. Photoshop can draw the effects even while I'm moving it. Another thing is working with the gradients. I just will use the fill tool. I use the gradient. One thing is that I can only change this temporarily, the angle and invert, and maybe repeats. But when I want to edit it, just temporarily for once, whatever, and I want to close it, just use it. I have to save it for some kind of reason. I don't want to save it, but there's no way. So, and another quality related thing is that, okay, I'll make it straight. The quality, look at this. You see the lines? It looks like shit. Again, there is no way, there's no dithering option or something. Photoshop has the dithering option, which really makes those lines invisible. The only thing you can really do about it is add some noise, really smooth amount of noise, and then somehow blur it, which is really not too handy. You need to do like 3 steps, and I think it will be maybe a problem in some parts of images you're working at. So that's just a few things out of, I think I could show you more, but that's a few things that really makes me upset, because I like the Paintshop Pro. That's the thing, I like it. Well, I noticed one more thing, actually I have to show you. Well, it's not visible in here, because it has very rough edges. I will uncheck the lifestyle. It actually did not handle it's more visible, like it's going like a little lighter here. When I checked the last time, it looked more brighter. So the opacity is not handled 100% with the quality. well, that's still okay, kind of. Well, with the new Paintshop Pro, they claim that they use, well, I think it was in previous version too. It should be like multi-core prepared, supporting multi-threading. You can see I have 6 cores, and it's still using like just 25% or something. I will show you. I will scale the image insane out because it takes more time for you to see. I'll make it 10,000 pixels, and it's working. It's working as my CPU load is like 30%, which is really not multi-threading. That's in effect not multi-threading at all. So that's about it. I hope somebody from Corel will see it, and the version X7 or some service pack will make these things better. Maybe they should hire some better, like beta testers or somebody. Seems like they just wake up after a year and say, hey, it's time to make a new version of Paintshop, and just spend 1 week making a new version, adding some useless features to it, and making new splash screen or something, new icon, and that's it. So I hope it will get better. It's there's a lot more potential in Paintshop Pro, and even in case it could handle the print colors, it would be a really badass competition to Photoshop. So have a nice day, and I hope you will agree with me, at least somebody, that this is really some things that can be better. And in fact, I forget one more thing to tell you about the UI, or the GUI, the graphics user interface. I usually tend to customize my layout and menus and everything to look at like the old Paintshop Pros, like from Jesk times. And every time there is a new version, it's not compatible with the older. It's not backward compatible. So I really have to shuffle all the stuff on all the menus again and again with every new version. It really drives me crazy. And one more thing is that like this tool options palette, you can really pin it on like here, or this is the same. I don't really get it why it's doubled, but I used to have it like over here, and there was like a line, like a header that you could roll over your mouse, and it would show the palette. And if you roll out, the palette would hide and remain only just like a line. It was very useful, very handy to use. It used small space, so you could see. You could have very much of space for the image you were editing. But since some, I don't know, some later versions, maybe 12 or something, this feature is not possible anymore. You can just pin it here, but as you can see, there is like this big space totally wasted, and you get very much smaller area for the picture, for the image you're editing. So that's another thing that makes me crazy. I want that old feature just to have the toolbars or stuff to be able to shrink to a single line and have the most for the image, because this is just too big. At least the layers on this thing is quite nice. It's quite usable. I like it. So that's it. That's maybe the last thing I forgot. So have a nice day and take care.